The Kansas City Royals got the steal of the MLB draft last night, and of course, I'm talking about Jac Caglianone, the two-way player of the Florida Gators, who's going to probably be a first baseman at the next level, but he is described as the best power-hitting prospect that we have seen in recent memory out of college baseball. So we'll break down what this means for the Royals' future and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. Today, we're going to be recapping what I believe to be the biggest steal of the MLB draft last night, and that was Jac Caglianone, who went 6th overall to the Kansas City Royals. I can't wait to talk about this guy. He was one of my favorite players in college baseball. He starred for the Florida Gators, and went on a pretty magical run last year in the College World Series, so it was really nice to see. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. It means a lot to me, and give us your thoughts on this draft as a whole. Not only on the Royals draft pick, but just the draft as a whole, because I liked it. I think the draft has become more and more significant as the years have rolled along here, and we're starting to see these college players that are getting picked in the first round start to play an impact fairly soon after getting drafted. Like we've seen Wyatt Langford make the Texas Rangers right away. He didn't really play in the minor leagues too much, maybe half a season, if that. Paul Skeens as well didn't play too much in the minors, and now he's starting the All-Star game for the National League after 12 starts with the Pirates. So we're seeing a lot of guys make immediate impacts, and I believe that Jac Caglianone has the potential to go ahead and do that. And I'm very excited to see what he can do. So let's just get into it here. With the 6th pick in the 2024 MLB draft, the Royals select first baseman / left-handed pitcher Jac Caglianone from the University of Florida. Now, these were his hitting stats from last season, and they're absolutely absurd. I mean, these are video game type numbers, and he did it over the course of an entire season. The Royals receive a gift in Jac Caglianone, falling to them at number 6. Smacked 75 home runs in 3 years at Florida, slashed .419 with a .544 on-base percentage, an .875 slug with 35 home runs, 72 RBIs, and 58 walks in 66 games this year. Those are unbelievable numbers. He's hitting a home run pretty much every 2 games. And he's a ridiculous talent. That's where the tweet ends by Jack Johnson here, and I couldn't be more excited. I think the Royals are really headed in the right direction here. They're surprising a lot of people with their play this season, and a lot of that has got to do with their pitching rotation. Seth Lugo has been really good, and Brady Singer as well. He deserves some props at the top of that rotation, but we know who the catalyst here is, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. He's one of the most exciting players in baseball, and if it weren't for Aaron Judge and the historic offensive numbers that he has been putting up this season for the New York Yankees, we'd probably be talking about Bobby Witt Jr. in the MVP conversation. And I have him ahead of Gunnar Henderson as a player that I would rather start a franchise with. I think he's one of the best all-around players in the game. He's the best defender at shortstop in Major League Baseball. He's got a cannon of an arm. He hits for power. He's a stolen base threat anytime he reaches first base, or even second base for that matter. And as a complete player, that's what you would describe a five-tool player as. Bobby Witt Jr. He's the exact example that you would provide in terms of describing a five-tool player, and their future is super exciting. But let's focus a little bit more here on Caglianone. Royals got the steal of the draft with Jac Caglianone at number 6, and this was from Giraffe Neck Mark, one of the more notable baseball YouTubers in the community. And he is a very biased Mets fan, and he does have some ridiculous takes sometimes, but he knows his baseball, and he knows what he's talking about. And for him to go out and say that about a team that is not the New York Mets, then it's probably a steal. And it's hard to call a number 6 pick a steal in a draft, in any draft for that matter, because if you're picking in the top 10, chances are you're pretty confident that you're going to get a good player, or at least someone that has the potential to be a really good player. Now, the jury is out on Caglianone. We don't know how good he's going to be. There was some chatter at the draft saying that he's got as much home run potential as Aaron Judge, And then there was another comparison of him saying that his floor is a Joey Gallo, which I'm sure Royal fans would not be too happy about. Even though Gallo did have some good years with the Texas Rangers, I think they're wanting a little bit more, considering the amount of hype that is surrounding him. And what I find interesting about the announcement that the Royals made yesterday while drafting Jac Caglianone was that he was going to be a two-way player and that they're going to give him the opportunity to both pitch and hit at the next level. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last for, and let's take a look at some of his pitching numbers right here. Just a spoiler, they weren't great. Okay, let's look at the ERA, 4.34 ERA in 2023, and a 4.76 ERA this past season. 74 innings pitched, 73 innings pitched this year, so his workload pretty similar, but the strikeout stuff is there. The one issue with him, though, however, it's got to be the walks. Like in the 74 innings that he pitched, 74 and 2/3 innings that he pitched last season or the year before that, 55 walks, which is a very alarming rate, and then 50 walks this year in 73 and 2/3. So he cut it down slightly, but still not enough. The whip was extremely high in both of those seasons where he was pitching, and this stuff is good, right? Like he's got a 97 to 99 mile an hour fastball consistently, and he's going to be able to run that up there. He's got a good changeup on him, decent movement on his pitches, but it's the control. Will he be able to hone that in the next level? And that's what MLB development is for. I think the Royals are in a great spot right now developmentally, and I think they're going to be able to allow Caglianone to grow as a player and be the guy that we all expect him to be. But at the end of the day, what I think he's going to be is a first baseman that mashes, that is really athletic for that position, and I think the Royals are going to be more than happy with that. I'd love to see him pitch and be a two-way player, but I just don't know if it is feasible for him, considering how much he struggled to pound the zone in the college game. Now, it's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait to see the development of the Royals as the years go along here, but Caglianone is no lottery ticket prospect. I think he's going to be legit, and it won't be long before we see him in a Kansas City uniform. I think he's that good. I thought he could have went first overall in the draft. I think that's how talented he is, and if you were to look at some mock drafts 2 or 3 months prior to the draft actually occurring, you would see Caglianone in that 1, 2, 3 range, and I believe he should have gone there. Maybe the chase percentage really scares some teams, and the strikeout percentage as well, and that's just looking at him as a hitter. I don't know how much upside there is there as a pitcher, but it's not a bad thing to fall back on if you are the Royals, and and you have that in your back pocket. So that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the Royals selection at number 6 of Jac Caglianone, the two-way player who is an absolute superstar at Florida with the Gators. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and shout out to Baseball Town as well. I give them a shout out every single video because this podcast would not be possible without their support. They have everything that you need for the baseball and softball season, whether it's bats, gloves, batting gloves, cleats. They got you covered. Check out baseballtown.ca for the best prices and for the most amazing equipment. I mean, they got top-of-the-line stuff. Wilson, Rawlings, everything that you can imagine in terms of a baseball player, we got you covered. So check out baseballtown.ca, but that'll wrap it up. And enjoy the All-Star break, everybody. It's going to be a while until we see some real baseball, but enjoy the Home Run Derby, enjoy the festivities, and I will see you tomorrow.